Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Terrifying Tuesday on our channel where we talk about all things horror. And today, of course, we have to talk about Scream 7. It is the gift that keeps on giving. And today, we have to talk about everything that has happened this past week because there's so much that's come out. And then there are some theories that people have been saying, and we're going to kind of break down what we know so far as fact, and then we're going to kind of dive into one theory that I have heard. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so we have a lot of Scream news to talk about. I do want to address, if you are hearing a sound in the background, it is freezing cold where I am. Like, so cold. So we do have a small heater going, and I'm sorry if you can hear it in the background just a little. Hopefully you can't. But let's get into today's topic, because today we have to talk about so much cool things. So much has happened this week. And we'll start at the beginning, because the first thing that happened this week, of course, is that we heard that Mark Kincaid, Patrick Dempsey, is not going to be a part of the movie. No, instead, they are going to bring in Joe McHale. Now, Joe McHale is this comedian. If you don't know his work, I recommend you check him out. He is one of my favorite comedians, so seeing him in something like this is a bit jarring for me, but at the same time, he has played serious roles before. He's done things like this before, where he's played in horror movies, where he's played in different things. So I can see him in this role. They don't take it as a joke. Now, that being said, he is going to be one of the bigger stars in the movie, so he will probably not make it out. That's just a fact right there. Now, of course, they could have signed him to 2 or 3 movies right away, and we could be getting to see him all the time. But he is actually going to be playing Mark Evans, and Mark Evans is revealed to be the name of Sidney Prescott's husband. A lot of people thought it was going to be Detective Mark Kincaid, and this is just not the truth. It's not what's happening. And when you think about it, they never really did say Mark Kincaid. However, it was something that we all kind of thought. Everybody thought it was going to be Mark Kincaid, so we all kind of went with that, and rightly so. But that is just not what ended up happening. Now, whether that has something to do with Patrick Dempsey not being able to make the shooting schedule, or whether it came down to pay or anything like that, we don't know. Now, if you've been watching my channel, you know that I had already previously talked about the possibility that he might not be able to come into the movie. But I was hopeful that he really would come back, and I kind of said that too. I think he will come back, but obviously I was wrong. Either the shooting schedules or the money issues became a thing. Well, that leads us to part 2. That's not all, because the day that they announced that, they also announced something else that was really big news. So they started off with the bad news that, of course, Patrick Dempsey wasn't going to be able to reprise his role in the movie for one reason or another. And I think it's wrong of us to actually try to pin down a reason. We aren't there. We aren't the film studio. We aren't the actors, and we don't know. So a lot of YouTubers are saying maybe it's money issues. Maybe it's this. Maybe it's the fact that they just couldn't sign him, whatever. We don't know the exact situation that happened there. So, we need to be careful what we say in terms of this information to you guys, because I don't want to say that I know the reason that he's not there. I want you guys to actually understand that there could be all kinds of reasons why he didn't show up in this movie. But the day they announced that bad news, they also announced some really amazing news, because that's what you do in Hollywood. If you have to tell people bad news, you try to sugarcoat it with something that's going to make them exciting as well. That's publicity 101 in terms of promoting your films. You have to be able to get people excited and get people in the seats. So what did they announce? Well, maybe you've already heard this one. But in addition to Mason Gooding coming back to play Chad, we have now got exclusive confirmation that Mindy Meeks Martin is returning. That's right. That is right. Jasmine Savoy Brown has been confirmed to be heading back to the series. And this is a big thing because if you remember when they were addressing this and everybody was starting to ponder whether or not she could be in the series or should be, I said that I thought she would be in the series. I said I thought they could do it. I think I had even said after she made her announcement that we don't know for sure what's going on, that maybe, I heard a lot of people ponder that she could still be in the movie, and I pretty much thought she could still be too. But now we have that confirmation. Now we know for sure that she is going to be a part of the movie. And what does this change? Well, this changes a couple things in terms of the movie because now we know that two of the survivors from the previous movie are back. And that raises the question, what will they be doing in terms of them being back? How will they play a part in this franchise going forward? Well, see, that's the beauty of it all because that's part of what everybody is starting to ponder because remember that Mason Gooding was supposed to be in a scene with Celeste O'Connor, and they were supposed to be at this bar. They showed us the pictures. Well, a fan of ours, someone in our comments, actually shared a video with me of something that was being said. Someone that had confirmation that not only was this bar being filmed at the time, but that none other than McKenna Grace was actually filming in this bar. Now, this sort of spawns the possibility that she may be the opening kill, and that's kind of the narrative. However, that's assuming that they're going in order, and they're not going in order. Films don't usually shoot in order, so the fact that she was filming in the scene tells us one of two things. It either tells us that they did film the opening scene, and she is the opening kill, or that they actually filmed a scene for later on in the movie. If this is true, then this raises another question. Why then is Mason Gooding and Celeste O'Connor in this scene, if they are in that scene? Well, that sort of stands to reason that she might be going to see them. Maybe she wants some information. Maybe they came back to help Sydney. That part isn't very clear. What is clear is that if it's not the opening scene, which in all logic it probably isn't, this means that this happens later on in the movie, which means that at least Mason Gooding is going to play a relatively important role in the film. Now, this raises the question, why announce Jasmine Savoy Brown now? In addition to this sort of being the idea that Jasmine Savoy Brown is coming back, sort of making the news that Patrick Dempsey isn't seem less tragic to fans, it does raise the question as to why. And that brings us to our rumor, our theory that people have been floating around regarding what could be the reason that she's back. Maybe, just maybe, what draws Chad to go and see them is that his sister Mindy dies. That's right, maybe she is now the opening kill. That would be something that would escalate the plot, bring Ghostface to Sydney's door if Ghostface is following Chad. Now, we've also heard that there are going to be multiple Ghostfaces in this movie. That is another rumor that's going around. One of these Ghostfaces is supposedly going to be someone that escapes from a mental institution to come back and haunt Sydney. Now, they're supposed to appear before that, so Sydney's supposed to rip off the mask or something, but that is a rumor. That is a rumor. So do not take that with anything but a grain of salt, because the fact that they have somebody in a mental institution could also present the possibility of Stu Macher actually returning, and that would be something that fans would be excited for. It does look like Kevin Williamson maybe sort of bringing together a lot of his ideas. And since we know that the cult of Ghostface was one of his ideas, and there is multiple Ghostfaces in this, it does sort of hint that that could be the case here. And I would not be opposed to that at all. Now, in terms of McKenna Grace being the main kill, the first kill in the movie, I don't think that's possible anymore. Not if she is in a scene that's filming and it's the first scene they were filming, because typically movies don't film that way. But in the case that it might be true, then that leaves Mindy to come back as well to warn Sydney or to help Sydney. We don't know exactly how big her role is going to be in the movie. We just know that she has now been confirmed. And in terms of Mark Kincaid, I'm sure we'll get mention of him in the plot. It might be kind of cool to find out what went wrong with that relationship. How'd that go down? But that is where I'm going to leave it off to you guys. I want to know what you guys think about any of this news. Does any of it excite you more about the Scream franchise? Does any of it make you worry about where this franchise is heading? Do you think that Joel McHale is a good choice to play her husband or a terrible choice? And what do you think of Jasmine Savoy Brown coming back to play Mindy once more? Are you excited that that's been confirmed? And do you think that this means we could start to hear that maybe other members of the cast from the last movie are returning? As always, we want to know what you guys think, so make sure you are leaving us that comment in the comment box below, letting us know what you think. Don't forget to share this video with all of your friends. They're going to want to be a part of this crazy conversation as well. And then don't forget to hit that like button. It's free, it helps the channel, and we really do appreciate it. And then Miko says we need more subscribers, and look at this face. You don't want to disappoint Miko. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell while you're down there so you don't miss a single video we do. And then friends, at the end of the day, I know it, you know it, and Miko knows it. Fandom is family.